Man, there are great white hopes just sprouting up everywhere. Uh, and even if you go look over at the WNBA, which again, I've been looking at, I came up with a list of here's their top 5 or 6 MVP candidates. And there's something, it's like, what do these tweets would go, what do you notice? Well, this is one of those, what do you notice tweets. The top candidate is Napheesa Collier, who is the star player for the Minnesota Lynx, team that I believe is the best in the WNBA. Napheesa Collier is having a great season. I think she's leading the league in scoring. I would put Caitlin Clark in the top 5 or 6. Sabrina Ionescu with the New York Liberty in the top 5 or 6. Breanna Stewart, New York Liberty in the top 5 or 6. Satu Sabali, she's with the Phoenix Mercury. They're having a good season. She's playing really well. Kelsey Plum, I believe, is the second leading scorer in the WNBA. She plays for the LA Sparks. They're not very good, but Kelsey Plum's the second leading scorer in the WNBA. Steve, I don't know if there's anything you noticed there, but I do. 4 of those girls have 2 full cups of sugar, and the other girls have a half cup of sugar or a cup of sugar. Collier and Sabali got white mothers, and again, so altogether there's 5 scoops of cane sugar in an allegedly black coffee league. The white women have invaded the WNBA and are dominating the WNBA, and I think there's a reason why. Honest to goodness, I think sports are being dominated by 2-parent family kids. Period. End of story. And the era of the baby mama professional sports leagues is coming to an end.
Wow. So are we calling this the milk mob or the whiteout? That's an interesting one. I think seeing that list, Monica McNutt's head may explode. She may not be able to take. Anyone check up on her? Oh my goodness. So wait, that's an interesting question. Maybe for basketball, because what I've been reading and what I've been noticing is that the European players from that part of the world, the way they train, the way they are taught the game, there's not the AAU-ization of it yet. And you look at the NBA, there is certainly this perception. It is no longer the inner city blacktop game. It is becoming a club travel type of thing. You need specialized trainers, things of that nature. There might be something to that, given what I've read about who is now producing NBA players at a rapid rate, right? Cities like Seattle, it's no longer Chicago, right? Like it was 25, 30 years ago. I think football, though, is still pretty much single mother, single parent household for the most part. Again, this is just perception. I'd have to do the research on it. But Jason, I have a question though. Should this be true, and let's say 2 months from now, it's still trending in this direction, do you believe when it comes to the MVP race that there will be a Kendrick Perkinsization in terms of the candidate, that there will be dishonest type of agendas being thrown around to make sure that certain players don't win it?
Not this year, because unless Napheesa Collier gets hurt, she's going to win it in a landslide. At this point, she'd be a unanimous MVP. There won't be any controversy this year. Now, will people try to, because again, this disrupts the Asia Wilson is the greatest player, and Asia Wilson, by the way, is from a 2-parent family. But Asia Wilson, it's going to disrupt the narrative that Asia Wilson is the greatest player in the WNBA and she's the greatest thing the WNBA has ever seen. And so people will struggle with that. But I will say back to my original point about when you have to travel now to develop, to play in these summer AAU basketball tournaments, that's a 2-parent experience. If someone's going to have to, hey, someone's got to travel with my son or daughter to go play somewhere or other, that's not a 1-parent situation. And then the other point, and this is a big point for me, and I probably should have had TJ Moe in this conversation because it probably fits his personality a bit better. But when Catholic leagues and Christian organizations are being pushed out of sports, and police officers, the POW, police athletically, when everybody, there's all this hostility towards police. Well, those were the people that developed the low-income baby mama kids. The Catholic leagues, the police athletic leagues, church leagues, that's who developed, who stood in oh, you don't have a daddy? There's a policeman or a fireman or some law enforcement official that's got a league to try to develop you, to get you on a path away from criminality or whatever. There's the church league. That's all being pushed out. And so now there is no safety net for the kids that don't have intact families, and the expense of traveling, the free time to travel, only two-parent families can handle, and again, it won't be talked about. The ramifications of the secularization of sports will not be talked about, and this trend of, even take LeVar Ball's kids, because I'm being really politically incorrect, but again, it's like, we love to talk about black girl magic. Well, what we're watching in sports is white mama magic. It's non-feminist mothers, and black women have decided to be feminists. They've decided to go totally in with the liberal, blah, blah, I'm a man and I don't need a man whole deal. And their kids are paying the consequences for that.
Jason, when it comes to Mr. Ball, though, I think he's made it very clear. I married my wife because she fit a physical profile. It wasn't just race or color. I mean,
and a personality one. Yeah.
Yeah, and he basically said, okay, we could spawn athletes here. We're good. The incubator is good here. The other thing is, I was just thinking about this, Jason. You're right, because in the era of specialization, where kids now by elementary school are basically told to choose one sport throughout the year. I see this a lot in baseball, but I'm sure it happens in basketball. I don't know if it could happen in football, though. You're right. If you're going to play a certain sports all year long and to travel, and it takes equipment, then you have trainers, it does help to have stability, and with stability comes economic means.
I'm not going to name names, but I've had friends of mine that heavily involved in AAU basketball, summer basketball with their kids. And they love to do it. They love to develop their sons. I'm talking, these friends of mine had sons. But one of the biggest headaches they had to deal with is when an athlete with some talent has a single mama who's in charge. And there's not two parents in charge. They're not dealing with a dad. They're dealing with a single mama. It complicates things very, very much. And it's a high maintenance situation. And it costs that coach money and time. And just, so here you are, a married father who's coaching summer basketball in your spare time to develop your son, and you got a wife. And then your wife is listening to some single mama call their husband to talk about their son's basketball career. It's just not the most comfortable situation. And it leads to dysfunction. And so this whole system is collapsing on itself, and it's all damaging the single mama, single parent kid. And we're just not talking about it, but you can see it everywhere. Last night, I don't know if you saw it, but when TJ McConnell has this great game, and his mom and dad are at the game, and then his dad came on NBA TV after the game, and his dad, TJ McConnell's got a sister that's in the WNBA and a younger sister that's headed to the WNBA. This is what two-parent families are producing. And, the media has always loved to tell the story, oh, this black athlete, he never knew his dad. His dad was in jail, and his mama would throw the football with him, or blah, blah, blah. Them stories ain't coming around nearly as often as they used to. Help us grow the Fearless Army. Pound that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with all your fearless friends.